Hey everyone, Trisha here with Web Sleuth's True Crime Update, Web Sleuth's YouTube Live, and websleuth.com, of course. Heading to Dallas, so I thought I would just give you a couple of stories. I've had a lot of people request the story about the time I was approached by Ted Bundy. Well, I'm actually going to make this a story of two Teds. Yes, I've been approached by two Teds. One, Ted Bundy, and one, Ted Nugent. One smelled like a disgusting pig, and the other one was charming. I'll let you decide after hearing both stories. Ted Bundy first. It was the fall of '74, and I was a sophomore in high school, and for the first time, I was allowed to go shopping by myself for my school clothes, and it was in the early evening. My brother dropped me off at a place called Fashion Place Mall. You had to walk into Sears to get into the full mall. It opened up into the mall where all the clothes stores were. So I'm going along. I am so happy. I'm feeling so cool. And this guy, all of a sudden, I'm walking through Sears to head into the mall, and this guy comes up to me. Hey, how you doing? And he is on my left side, and our arms are touching, and he's taller than me. I'm looking up at him. He's looking down at me. And I said, well, I'm fine. How are you? And he's really cute, and I was completely boy crazy, and I just was absolutely fascinated. I thought he was in the army because he was wearing brown khakis, brown shirt, brown khakis. And it made me think for some reason, he was in the army. And he goes, oh, I'm fine, but I am looking for a store called ZCMI, and I can't find it. Well, at that time, the store, ZCMI, was not in Fashion Place Mall. It was only in a mall called the Cottonwood Mall. Later, it did come to Fashion Place, but at this point, it wasn't there yet. And I went, oh, no, you're in the wrong mall. I said, you need to go to Cottonwood Mall. And he goes, laughs, ha ha ha. And he says, well, listen, I'm new in town. Can you come with me and show me how to get there? Now, in 1974, they didn't warn us about, I don't think we even knew the word serial killer. And the only thing we were ever taught was, don't get into cars with strangers. Don't talk to strangers. Not be careful if a charming man wants to take you in his car and, start talking to you. Nothing, no warning like that. But for some reason, that scared me to death when he said that. He was smiling, he was charming, there was no problem until he said, can you come with me and show me how to get there? And I put my head down and I said, no, I can't. And I'm walking really fast. And he's walking with me. Our arms are touching. And he's bending down trying to look at my face. And I'm not looking at him now. I'm just going, oh my God, what am I going to do? Never thought, to call security, call the police. We just didn't know that stuff back then. So I'm walking along and he goes, look, just come out into the parking lot with me and point me in the right direction. Now, I have to tell you, if he would have asked me that first, I probably would have done it, because that wouldn't have scared me. But because I was already scared, I said, no, I can't. Now I don't know how I'm going to get away from him, because he's walking along with me. All of a sudden, I see my cousin, who's old enough to be my mom. And I went, there's my mom. And I ran toward her. And I said, oh my gosh, Jerry, this guy is just creepy. And turned around, gone. I mean, he must have just taken off the second I went to Jerry. So anyway, walked out of Sears, went to the phone bank. They had pay phones back then. And I called my brother. And I said, Craig, look, come get me. I don't want to go school shopping. There's this guy here. He really scared me. He freaked me out. Just pick me up where you dropped me off, which was outside of Sears. So I see my brother pull up, brown gremlin. Yeah. And I go out there and I open the car door and he's got like this big hammer. Let's go kill this son of a bitch. I'll kill him. I'm like, oh my God, Craig, he just creeped me out a little bit. There's no need to kill him. And he was obviously had anger issues because he was all hopped up, ready to to kill the guy that scared me, which, looking back on it, is kind of sweet, you know? Now it's like he can't even return my phone call, but that's a whole other story. Anyway, so I convinced him, no, we're not going to look for him, take me home, okay? Well, a little while later, weeks later, they arrested some guy because he had kidnapped a woman from Fashion Place Mall, but she escaped, and her name was Carol Durant, and the man they arrested was Ted Bundy. And I saw him on the news, and he was scruffy looking, had like a 5-day beard, looked kind of almost chubby in the face. Never made the connection that it was the same guy. Didn't even enter my mind. Come to find out, women had been disappearing all over the place in Salt Lake City, and it was him. And again, we didn't even know the term serial killer. So, anyway, I go on with my life, not ever thinking twice about it. Until one day, a couple of years after that, I was it 2-3 years? I can't remember. But I come downstairs from my bedroom, and I think it was my brother was reading the paper, or my dad. I can't remember which one, but my brother was there. And I look, and the front page of the paper, they had a picture of all these different guys. And I went, oh my God, Craig, that's the guy in Fashion Place. And the headline was something like, The 7 Faces of Ted Bundy. And I just went, oh my God. And it showed how he could look so different, literally from day to day. And of course, my brother, being a big brother, oh, you should have let me kill him, you know. Now I'm feeling guilty as all hell that I didn't let my brother go and bash his head in, but I'm thinking, well, if I had done that, my brother would have gone to prison. But yeah, he delighted in saying, if only you would have let me. There was some name in the paper, and I'm thinking it was a county attorney or somebody, and I found the office, and I called him, and I said, look, I just read this. I can tell you that Ted Bundy was there a few weeks before Carol Durant because he approached me. And I told him the story, and they said, well, why didn't you call us when you saw he was arrested? I said, because he didn't look anything like the guy until I saw the picture in the paper today. And the guy says, yep, well, you're very lucky. That's our Ted. And at this time, he had, I think, been moved to Colorado, or maybe he had already escaped. I can't remember. But he took my name. He said, I doubt we'll need it, because he was convicted of kidnapping here, and then he was transferred to Colorado. And he escaped. They caught him, brought him back to Colorado. He escaped again. Then I think he ended up in Florida, and that's when he attacked the sorority girls. I didn't tell that story for a long time because I was freaked out. And upset. And when I told it first on the internet years ago, the trolls came out en masse. Oh, you're so full of shit. You're just looking for attention. No, it was really true. I obviously I called my cousin Jerry, told her what happened. I told a few friends about it, but I just never really thought that much about it, and when I did, it was really upsetting. So anyway, the only proof I have is my brother remembers the hammer and that story. My cousin Jerry is in her 80s now, and she doesn't remember, but her kids remember her telling the story. So anyway, now the other Ted Nugent. I worked at a radio station called K-Bear in the mid to late 80s. It was what you call a new, it played new rock, new hard rock. And so we always got gifts from record reps because they wanted us to play their new music. Well, Ted Nugent had a new album out, so he was doing a tour. And I was the music director. That meant absolutely nothing. All I did was take calls from record reps, and then my boss and the owner decided what to play, and then I'd be left to deal with the record reps because they're all mad at me because I'm not playing their new music, because usually the new music was awful. Well, Ted Nugent had an album out, and it was terrible. But he had Cat Scratch Fever, and there was one other one. It was really kind of slow, kind of had a sexy beat that was okay. But that's the only reason people liked Ted Nugent, was for Cat Scratch Fever. So anyway, because the record reps wanted us to play Ted Nugent's song, he gave me a backstage pass, not knowing that I had nothing really to do with deciding what music was played. So I was standing backstage with Ted Nugent's road manager, I believe. And we're just chit-chatting, waiting because he wanted me to meet Ted. And while I'm talking to him, I am watching people in Ted's group getting girls. Now, I'm not saying they're underage, because I have no idea, but they were younger than, I would say, a person in their 20s. Taking them back stage somewhere to some room, and some of them came back out, and they were all disappointed and upset. Obviously, they were bringing women back for Ted to look at, and if they didn't pass muster, they were sent back out to the to the audience. This is before the show. So Ted Nugent comes out to meet me, and we're chatting, and he says, yeah, I'm paraphrasing some of this, but the general, what he said basically was this. I like Salt Lake City, and when I leave here, something's going to be, let's see, what was he said? Something's going to be dead, or my dick will be bleeding, dragging in the ground, or something like that. Something, basically, he was going to go hunting and kill something, or else his pineapple, as we call it here on Web Sleuth's YouTube Live, would be used so much that it would be bloody and dragging in the ground. Then he grabs me and puts me in a headlock and says, why haven't you played my new music? I will always regret that I didn't say, Ted, because your new music sucks, just like you as a human being. You disgust me. You're pathetic. Go to hell. But instead, I was a complete wimp, and I said, you'll have to talk to the program director. I wanted to play it or something. I can't remember. So, that is my story of two Teds. Now, which one do you think was a smelly, awful person, and another one who came off as charming but actually turned out to be Satan himself? Yeah, I think you know which ones. Okay, I will be telling you a story again, and it's going to be about the library hostage situation that I was involved with. I've had requests for that as well, and those will be my 3 big stories, okay? So, and hope you enjoyed the story of two Teds, and we will be back live soon, I promise. Love you, my true crime angels. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.